Greetings and Tanze. Welcome to Squatch Topic PA Biblical. Today we're going to go over some Apocrypha text written from Enoch, the Book of Giants. In all honesty, I should start from Enoch, but being that this is a Sasquatch channel, I feel it's more fit to start with the Book of Giants. What I'm going to be reading from today comes from the Ultimate 84 Book Apocrypha, but the text is fragmented, so I had to reach out to many sources to complete the text. As you see, my wife helped me a lot to this. So, as you see, we had to do a lot of filling in to connect the dots to complete the texts. So I had to do a lot of homework and a lot of sticky noting. So I want to read the introduction and commentary piece here. And then for the initial Book of Giants, being the fragmented parts and the research we had to do to get to fill in fragmented pieces, my wife wrote them in, and I have slight dyslexia, and it was hard for me to read it the way it was written in, so I took the time to copy it all in my handy dandy notebook. So, you tell I have kids. So we're going to get started here on the introduction and commentary part for the Book of Giants. Okay? So, and the timeline for this would have been, if you're looking into figuring the time frame, this would have been between Genesis chapter 6 and right before Noah's flood. So right before the point of Noah's flood. Okay? So the introduction commentary says, it is fair to say that the patriarch Enoch was as well known to the ancients as is obscure to modern Bible readers. Besides giving his age at 365 years, the book of Genesis says of him only that he walked with God, and afterward he was not, because God had taken him. And that was written in Genesis 5:24. This exalted way of life and mysterious demise made Enoch into a figure of considerable fascination and a cycle of legend that grew up around him. Now, what they're saying here in Genesis 5:24, that he walked with God, and then God taken him. He didn't die when he went up with God. God took him when he was alive. So he walked with God while he was still a man, when he was still living. Keep that in mind. Okay. Many of the legends about Enoch were collected and already in ancient times in several long anthologies. The most important such anthology, and the oldest, is known simply as the Book of Enoch, comprising over 100 chapters, which we will be reading on this channel. It still survives in its entirety, although only in the Ethiopic language, which I will be getting an Ethiopian Bible to reference back, and forms of important sources for the thought of Judaism in the last few centuries BC. They say BCE, but I don't believe in the E. I believe in before Christ and AD. I don't believe in that E part. Significantly, The remnants of several almost complete copies of the Book of Enoch in Aramaic were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it is clear that whomever collected the scrolls considered it a vitally important text. All but one of 5 major components of the Ethiopic anthology have turned up among the scrolls. But even more intriguing is the fact that additional previously known or little known texts about Enoch were discovered at Qumran. The most important of these is the Book of Giants, which is what we're going to be reading today. Enoch lived before the flood during a time when the world in ancient imagination was very different. Human beings lived much longer. For one thing, Enoch's son Methuselah, for instance, attained the age of 969 years. Another difference was that angels and humans interacted freely. So freely, in fact, that some of the angels begot children with human females. This fact is neutrally reported in Genesis 6, 1 through 4. But other stories view this episode as source of the corruption that made the punishing flood necessary. According to the Book of Enoch, the mingling of angels and humans was actually the idea of the Shir Nazar, the leader of the evil angels who lured 200 other to cohabit with women. The offspring of these unnatural unions were giants 450 feet high. Ooh, that's tall. The wicked angels and the giants began to oppress the human population and to teach them to do evil. For this reason, God determined to imprison the angels until the final judgment and to destroy the earth with a flood. Enoch's effort to intercede with heaven for the fallen angels were unsuccessful. 1 Enoch 6 through 16. The Book of Giants retell part of this story and elaborates the exploits of the giants, especially the 2 children of Shemahizah, Olhriah, and Ahiah, since no complete manuscript exists of the giants. Its exact contents and their order remain of guesswork. Most of the content of the present fragments concerns the giants, ominous dreams, and Enoch's efforts to interpret them and to encode them. God on the giants' behalf. Unfortunately, little remains of the independent adventures of the giants, but it is likely that these tales were at least partially derived from the ancient Near Eastern mythology. Thus the name of one of the giants is Gilgamesh, the Babylonian hero and subject of great epic written in the 3rd millennium BC. Okay, just to recap on some things, the writings of Enoch included 1st Enoch, which was in the Ethiopian Book of Enoch, 2nd Enoch, which was the Slavonic Secrets of Enoch, 3rd Enoch was in the Hebrew Book of Enoch, and then you have the Book of Giants. All right, and if you need an idea on their the family tree of where Enoch came, there you go. There's the family tree. So as you see, you have Adam, Cain. See, there's more than one Enoch. On Cain's side, you have Enoch, Irad, Mishael, Methuselah, Lamech. You see it goes down. And then on this side, you had Seth, Enosh, and it just goes on down. zoom in for you. I'll let the camera focus. Alright. So, Enoch was the father of Methuselah. Methuselah fathered Enoch, who fathered Noah, who fathered Japheth, Shem, and Ham. Now we're going to move into the actual book of Giants. So I'll move into the handy dandy notebook. Alright. Now, this would be the fourth book of Enoch. As I said, I was reading the book of Giants first. This is actually the fourth book of Enoch. And time setting would have been 3500 BC. So you have a time setting. So this would have been 3500 BC, before Christ. A summary statement of the desert, or a summary statement of the descent of the wicked angels, bringing both knowledge and havoc. They knew the secrets of things at the time, and the sin was great in the earth with the wicked angels, and they had killed many people. They begat giants with mortal women. The angels exploit the fruitfulness of earth. The wicked angels consumed everything that the earth produced. The great fish, the birds in the sky, with all that grew. The fruit of the earth, and all kinds of grain, and all the trees. Beasts and reptiles, they committed sin against, and all creeping things of the earth, and they observed and abused all. Every harsh deed and harsh utterance among male and female, and among humans. The 200 angels choose animals on which to perform unnatural acts, including presumably humans. The 200 angels seized 2 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 sheep, rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field, from every animal, from every bird, for experiments and breeding, all types, with humans for miscurations. For these deeds, monsters were created and flourished across the earth. The outcome of demonic corruption was violence, perversion, and a brood of monstrous beings. The fallen ones, they defiled all creation, and they begot giants and monsters, and all creatures, and all creatures they begot. And behold, all of the earth was corrupted, which was defiled with its blood, and by the hand of giants, which did not suffice for them, and they were seeking to devour many more. The monsters attacked all creations. The monsters sought out flesh, which all would be destroyed or perverted. Monsters and giants will be destroyed or perverted. Monsters and giants will be born and will arise lacking in true knowledge, because they were abominations. In the meantime, the earth grew corrupt, and the giants grew more mighty, and they were considering trying to persuade another angel to come form the angels upon the earth, and the end, it will perish and die. All the time they cause great corruption in the earth. If this goal did not suffice to perpetuate, they will be finally destroyed. The giants begin to be troubled by a series of dreams and visions. Mahoi, the Titan son of the angel Barakel, reports the first of these dreams to his fellow giants. He sees a tablet being immersed in water. When it emerges, all but 3 names have been washed away. The dream evidently symbolizes the destruction of all but Noab, the name is Noab, and his sons by the flood. The giant named Mahoi had a vision. They drenched the tablet in the water. The waters went up over the tablet, and they lifted out the tablet from the water, and the names on the tablet before placing it in the water. When the tablet came out of the water, only 3 names remained from the generation of Adam. Now his vision is for cursing and sorrow. I am the one who confessed to the whole group of castaways that I shall go to the spirits of the slain, complaining about their killers and crying out that we shall die together and be made an end of much, and I will be sleeping and bread for my dwelling in the vision, and also entered into the gathering of the giants. Oh yeah, and he said to Mahoi without trembling, who showed you this vision, my brother? Barachel, my father, was with me before Mahoi had finished telling what had seen in his dream. Ohua said to him, now I have heard wonders. If a barren woman gives birth, that would be an equal wonder. Thereupon Ohua said to Hahaya to be destroyed from upon the earth and the earth. When they finished discussing the dreams, they wept before the giants and monsters. Use your strength, the group counseled. Thereupon Ohia said to Hahaya. Then he answered, this doom not for us, but for Aziel. For he did corruption to the children of angels, that are the giants, and they would not let all their poverty ones be neglected. We have not been cast down. You have strength and can resist. The giants realized the futility of fighting against the forces of heaven. The first speaker may be Gilgamesh. I am a giant, and by the mighty strength of my arm and my own great strength, any one mortal, and I made war against them. But I am not now able to stand against them, for my opponents reside in heaven, and they dwell in holy places, and not they are stronger than I. The day of the raving of the wild beast has come, and the wild man they call me. Then Ohia said to him, I have been forced to have a dream. The sleep of my eyes vanished to let me see a vision. Now I know that on the field of battle we cannot win. Take heed of these words, Gilgamesh. Ohia's dream vision is of a tree that is uprooted except for 3 of its roots. The vision import it's the same as that of the first dream. I saw a tree except for 3 of its roots. While I was watching, there came some beings. They moved the roots into this garden, all of them, and not all but three. Ohia tried to avoid the implications of these visions. Above he stated that it referred only to the demon Aziel. Here he suggests that the destruction is for the earthly rulers alone. This dream concerns the death of our souls, House and all his comrades, and Ohia told them what Gilgamesh said to him. And it was said, the foreboding concern, only the leader caused the potentates, and the giants were glad to hear his words. Then he turned and left the assembly. More dreams afflict the giants. The details of his visions are obscure, but it bodes ill for the giants. The dreamers speak first to the monsters, then to the giants. Thereupon 2 of them had dreams, and the sleep of their eye fled from them. And they arose and came to and told their dreams, and said in the assembly of their comrades to the monsters, in my dream I was watching this very night, and there was a garden with its gardeners, and there were watering 200 trees, and large shoots came out of their roots. Suddenly all the water evaporated, and fire burned in the garden. They found the giants to tell them their dream. Someone suggests that Enoch to be found to interpret the visions. We must tell this dream to Enoch, the noted scribe, and he will interpret it for us, the dream. Thereupon his fellow Ohia declared and said to the giants, I too had a dream this night. O giants, and behold, the ruler of heaven came down to the earth, and such is the end of the dream. Thereupon all giants and monsters grew afraid, called Mahwe, and came to them, and the giants pleaded with him and sent him to Enoch, the noted scribe. They said to him, go to Enoch, to you, that so that you have heard his voice. And he said to him, he will decipher and interpret the dreams. Enoch will tell us how long the giants have to live and rule on this earth. After a cosmic journey, Mahwe comes to Enoch and makes his request. Mahwe, he mounted up the air like strong winds, and he flew with his hands like eagles. He left behind the inhabited world and passed over desolation, the great desert. And Enoch saw him and hailed him. And Mahwe said to him, hither and thither, a second time to Mahwe. The giant awaits word, and all monsters of the earth. If this has been carried from you, the days of old, their ancestors, and they will be added to domination. We would know from you their meaning, and of 200 trees that from heaven came down. Enoch sends back a tablet with its grim message of judgment, but with hope for repentance. The scribe Enoch had provided a copy of the second tablet that Enoch sent previously in the very handwriting of Enoch, noted scribe. In the name of God, the great and holy one, to Shemihaza and all his companions, to let it be known to you that not all sinfulness and the things you have done, and that your wives, for they and their sons and the wives of their sons, by your licentious on the earth, and there had been upon you a heavenly judgment, and the land is crying out and complaining about you and the deeds of your children, and accounts the harm you have done to it. Until Raphael arrives, behold, destruction is coming, a great flood, and it will destroy all living things, and whatever is in the desert and seas. And the meaning of the matter is upon you for evil. But now, loosen the bonds biting you to evil, and pray forgiveness, you may yet be saved. A fragment apparently detailing a vision that Enoch saw. A trembling great fear seized me, and I fell upon my face. I heard his voice. He dwelled among human beings, but he did not learn from them. And that will be the end of the book of Giants. Now, what we get from this is people say that, well, there was a flood. How did any of the giants survive? If people say that there's still giants today, how did they survive the flood? How could any of them still have reproduced afterwards? Well, obviously it says here in the apocryphal text in the book of Giants that from that tablet that Enoch had provided and from the dreams that the giants were having, 3 of them survived. What does that mean? There was 3 left to procreate, which allowed them to repent in the name of our Creator, Lord, and allow them to carry on their generations. So that's all we have on this one for today, guys. So I hope to shed some light on some subjects for everybody. I hope you guys learned something out of this. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. Many blessings. Shalom.